Good day, ladies and gentlemen. As you already have heard, the United States has unleashed, the United States and its allies, the UK and France, unleashed a series of Tomahawk cruise missiles, another ordnance on the sovereign country of Syria. The damage is yet to be determined. I've heard a variety of different things, but I'm sure we'll figure things out in more detail in the next few days. I had made a video a few days ago with the breaking news that Trump was planning to launch an attack on Syria in response to the staged chemical attack by the rebels. Didn't know what he was ultimately going to do. Nobody did. All we could do was analyze, give our opinions, and then hope and pray that it didn't happen, and then see if it did. And unfortunately, it occurred. It took place on Friday the 13th. Have no doubt in your mind that that is not a coincidence. You're dealing with some sadistic, satanic people that are really in power, as you no doubt have witnessed with this failure of an outsider president in Donald Trump. The powers that be have really taken center stage with their rabid, aggressive warmongering, and the thirst for war is palpable. But I want to kind of bring up an issue which I think a lot of people are succumbing to in the wake of these attacks, which is the fear of some sort of nuclear Armageddon, where there's this end of the planet. And again, in relation to my channel, In-Depth Perceptions, and its name, I do want to kind of shed some light on this topic from a different angle or a different perception, which is all war is a racket at one level or another. And we have to remember, if we really view this system for what it is in its hierarchical nature, and at this top of the pyramid, everyone is on the same team in my estimation. There isn't going to be a nuclear Armageddon because the powers that be, the people who are making the decisions, don't want there to be a nuclear Armageddon. They profit from war, they profit from death, and they profit from destruction. It is in their best interests to keep conflicts stoked and raging. The purpose is not to win a conflict. The purpose is to make money. The purpose is to drive the military-industrial complex and to steal the wealth from the American citizens through ever-increasing taxes. This is a game that's being played. And I don't think for a second the Russians and the people in the high circles in China and in Russia don't understand the game, and that aren't actually engaged in it themselves. This fear that they spread through what a nuclear Armageddon could look like is, I think, a controlling mechanism they use. And it's not something that should be taken seriously. What should be taken seriously is the escalation of wars that only add further death and destruction to the community in which they're taking place. So protesting this war in Syria doesn't mean you're protesting, or shouldn't mean you're protesting nuclear war, because I don't believe that that's going to happen. It's the thousands and thousands of more Syrians that are going to have to die to keep this profiteering going. And if we want to look at it even from a deeper angle, and people who have done the research enough should know that the ultimate goal of this global mafia, which I would call it, and other people have used that phrase, this global mafia's end goal is to create some sort of world totalitarian system in government. And in order to achieve that goal, they need to break apart all the empires of the world, and they do that They bring that about through war and through financial crises. I think if there is going to be some sort of world war, it will be a war that is more or less staged managed from the top. A war that will bring about the end goal, which is some sort of one world system, financial monetary system, governmental system. That is, from my research, the end goal of this global cabal. That may sound crazy to some people who haven't actually taken the time to look things through from this perception, but it makes a lot more sense to me. So we shouldn't buy into the fear porn, the end of the world and the total destruction of humanity, because fear porn sells. It's really time to just take a look at the system and see all these glaring illustrations of the failures of people like Donald Trump. And we should take that and we should run the other direction and try to come up with alternative ways to run society. Starting with the individual, taking full individual responsibility for his or her own actions. So we don't need to have people self-dependent on some sort of central authority. So in closing with this video, I just want to give thanks that I'm fortunate enough to be living somewhere that's not under a cruise missile attack under false pretexts. It's always good to give thanks. I feel for those in Syria and those around the world that have been affected by these egregious wars against humanity. All we can do is try and spread this information so more people can become awake, and potentially we could stop further conflicts. So with having said all that, I hope people really don't take this nuclear Armageddon nonsense seriously and can continue to spread the anti-war message and the non-interventionist message, and hopefully that will be driven home to the American voting populace, and that those issues can be taken very, very seriously, because their consequences are extremely dire around the world. So thanks again, everybody. Please share and spread this information if you found it valuable or if it resonated with you. I'm Nathan Riva, and this is In-Depth Perceptions. Take care.